Right, howdy everybody. Just going to burst on to our next lesson. As you can see here, we got our unit, our topic, date, and objective and Covey connection. Okay, so you can pause the video, make a quick note of those, and we'll move on. Okay, there's a couple of notes to be made, and you're going to be looking at Social Studies Book 2. And I will be setting an assignment in today's lesson. Okay, that will be put in the assignments on the Plus Portal tab. All right, it is a Mediterranean vegetation assignment. Let's keep moving. Now, first things first, I'll just clear up. Okay, this is a map of the world, obviously. All right, we got Australia, Asia, Europe, Africa, South America, North America, and we're these little dots over here. Now, the Mediterranean as a region is highlighted here. Okay, the south of Europe and to the north of Africa. All right, now that's where the Mediterranean is, but vegetation, as we know, is controlled by lots of various factors, not just location. Okay, so you can actually have Mediterranean vegetation all around the world. And again, I want to stress the links to our climate. We looked at all these climate types as well. So vegetation is influenced very heavily by temperature and rainfall, mainly. And then there's also other factors like how close it is to the sea, altitude, how high up it is, and how far it is from the equator, and so on. So that being said, we've also got our Mediterranean vegetation can be found in California, directly over here, down here in Chile, over here in South Africa, and parts of Australia. So if you actually look closely, what you'll notice is it's kind of along certain latitudes, Mediterranean, California, and Chile, South Africa, and Australia, and in relation to the sea. Okay, now I just want to highlight that. So unfortunately, you do have to make a quick note of this. Okay, so a little subheading under where you've had it up: location of Mediterranean climate. While the Mediterranean region is found in southern Europe and to the north of Africa, spelling mistake by me. Okay, the vegetation type is found in many more locations. All right, remember, vegetation is controlled by temperature and rainfall of a place along with other factors. A Mediterranean climate can also be found in California, USA, Chile, South America, and South Africa and Africa. All right, now you can add Australia if you want to that as well. All right, so that's our locational piece taken care of. So I do want you to make a note of that, please. Second of all, there's two keywords here as well that will crop up in the text we'll look at later. Okay, dormant. This is when plants are inactive or asleep until their growing season begins. Scrub or scrubland refers to a low bush-like vegetation which grows in Mediterranean regions. They're slightly woody, and they've also got very nice smells or fragrances. So I'm going to show you some pictures of those. So once you're finished noting those down, play the video again. So this is what Mediterranean vegetation looks like. Okay, it's usually quite low vegetation. There are some trees that grow, but this is kind of our scrubland here. It can be quite colourful, but quite low, and again quite woody, as you can probably see there. Again, some scrubland with a couple of trees. All right, this is almost Bahamian with the exposed rock. Okay, it looks similar to some areas we have here in the Bahamas. You also are quite close to the ocean. Okay, the Mediterranean is famous for its as a beach destination. All right, just like California is, just like Chile, Australia, and South Africa. Sorry. The Mediterranean vegetation also gets lots of very aromatic or very fragrant plants growing. Okay, so it can get it can smell incredibly nice and look very pretty. All right. In winter, then back to our scrubland. This is what scrub looks like. These low little shrubs, often quite woody. You can see some branches here and down here and stuff. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip over to the Social Studies book and go through one page of that very quickly. All right. Okay, so if we move on, I'm on page 122 of the Social Studies book 2. All right, we've already done a bit about the bit in pink up here is for different vegetation. We're going to do a bit in green today. All right, so Mediterranean warm temperate forests. So again, just a little bit. Medi, terra, actually stands for middle and earth from Latin. All right, so we have Mediterranean. It is a relatively dry season in winter. Okay, but it's still nice and cool. It's not too cold. All right, so it is possible for vegetation to survive. All right, I want to highlight a couple of examples of the trees that will grow. So you have an oak, a cypress tree, and a cedar tree. Strangely enough, there's actually a country called Cyprus in the Mediterranean. Now, then we have it's dominated by bushes and shrubs. That's our scrubland, okay? But you can call it shrubs as well. They're known for their aromatic properties, so they smell very nice, which are used commercially. Now, commercially means for business, all right? In perfumes and scents of different things. So your perfumes, your toiletries, your shampoos, soaps, all those different things, okay? So some of the ones you'll find very commonly: lavender, rosemary, and roses, all right? So that's just a variety of different vegetation that grows in Mediterranean regions. You will have to list some of those for your homework or for your assignment, so please make sure you've highlighted those, okay? So let's move on to a little bit of agriculture then, or a little bit of farming in the Mediterranean. All right, the Mediterranean areas, especially in southern Europe, hold some of the oldest farmlands in Europe's history, okay? The Romans and the Greek civilizations both sprung up in this area, all right? And they were very industrious and very forward thinking, so they brought lots of agricultural practices to the area. So other things, Mediterranean lands, they produce lots of different fruits, especially citrus fruits, all right? So lemons, limes, kiwis, all that kind of thing. Lots of vegetables. Wheat as a cereal crop, okay, and then grapes and olives as well are two very famous ones, all right? Wine is then made from grapes. So let me just show you a little over on page 123. Actually, you can read it yourself. There's a big picture of a vineyard, okay? Our common sight in the south of France, in the Mediterranean. They've been producing high quality grapes and wine for over 100 years. All right, so wine is a huge business in this part of the world. All right, and you can see how very lined up and how very human impacted or orchestrated these vineyards are. All right, so we've cleared all the vegetation away, as we'll come to later, and we now have these vineyards that dominate a lot of the hilllands or rolling hills of the Mediterranean. All right, it's a fascinating place to visit, and you can take tours of all of these places. Now, as we've already said, okay, the Mediterranean is not exclusively in the area called the Mediterranean. So the vegetation is not exclusively there, I should say. It's found all around the world. So again, California has become a very famous producer of food, especially things again like fruits, vegetables, and a lot of wines as well, okay? We've seen this word irrigation before, all right? Irrigation is when we move water from a place that doesn't have access to water. We move water there to allow farming to occur, to grow food, okay? So in some places that have this climate and this type of vegetation, massive irrigation works have turned it into a ideal climate to grow food. So the climate is very good for growing food. We just have to get water there. So California uses huge amounts of irrigation, okay? And now they grow lots of grapes, lots of salad vegetables. It's one of the greatest agricultural regions on the planet now as a result of being able to get water to its regions, okay? Because it's actually a very good place for vegetation to grow. I'm going to just make a quick second video outlining your assignment, okay? We'll look at some of the information first, and I'll go through your assignment exactly what you have to do, all right?